In a world full of FPS games, it's very hard to stand out and make a name for yourself, but for one up-and-coming game developer, they did it, and they did it very well with Titanfall. Titanfall wasn't just another good FPS game. In my opinion, it is one of the best and well-made FPS games that I have played even to this day. The movement you have with the pilots, just the hype of calling down your Titan and fighting other Titans, there is literally nothing like that. And now, it's dead, not because the games ever fell below expectations, but strictly because of poor business decisions, neglect, and shift in priorities. But before that, let's rewind all the way back to 2007 where this all got started. Jason West and Vince Zampella, two former leads at Infinity Ward who had a helping hand in making the one and only Call of Duty Modern Warfare, or COD 4. They used their success to try and renegotiate their contracts, and after some disputes, they were both fired from the company, but this led to something great, the creation of their own studio. Just a month after they were fired from Activision, they created the studio Respawn Entertainment. With the help of EA, get used to them, you'll be hearing them a lot in this video, they sought out to produce their own sci-fi shooter that would later be known as Titanfall. Titanfall aimed to compete with other sci-fi shooters like Halo and Gears of War, and it would later be released in March of 2014, and in its first week it sold almost 1 million copies. But player reviews and critic reviews were very positive, and the new to the time wall running, jetpacks, and giant mechs made for something that felt really special. While not perfect, it was a very promising first release and looked like it was going to be the next big thing. Then came Titanfall 2 in 2016, and Respawn really went all in on this game. This time there was a campaign, and normally I don't really care for Call of Duty like campaigns or shooter campaigns, but I had bought Titanfall 2 on sale a couple of months ago just to play the multiplayer again, but a couple weeks ago I ended up playing the campaign, and man, it was so fun. It was pretty short, I think around 6 or something hours, but that time is almost perfectly done. For a FPS campaign, it gives you all you want and all you need. Great movement, great gunplay, a very nice looking world and environment, level design, pretty much everything is really well done, and even a pretty decent story for only being 6 hours. It followed Jack Cooper and BT, a fun, well-made campaign that is honestly just worth getting the game to play it. The multiplayer though was still very well done, fun movement, good gunplay, and fun maps, doing what Titanfall does best. But the game had one problem, not its reviews. The game is critically acclaimed and loved by fans. The problem was competition. Respawn thought it was a good idea to try and compete with Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I'm gonna say it was bad. It was nowhere near as good as Titanfall 2 and is not even as close to the best of the exosuit Call of Duties at that time. That title goes to Black Ops 3. I love that game. But it is a Call of Duty, so the release of Titanfall was massively overshadowed by Infinite Warfare, which released only a couple weeks before, and Call of Duty wasn't the only competitor for them. Battlefield 1 released only 10 days before Titanfall 2 came out, and the game underperformed financially, not because it was bad, but because it was effectively invisible when it came out. And after that, it just goes straight downhill. Respawn was bought out by the same people who helped them in November of 2017 by EA for $151 million. Of course, Titanfall 3 had been rumored all of the time with no actual information about it. It was just a copium fest. Then came the confirmation, at least for me, that Titanfall was officially dead. And that was the release of Apex Legends. Being 2019, the peak of battle royales, EA wanted to get their grubby little hands on that sweet Fortnite money. When I first played Apex, I had no idea for some reason it had anything to do with Respawn. I somehow missed the title screen where it says their logo, but when I played, I noticed how similar things were. Movement is very similar, just missing the jetpack and wall running. The guns are exactly the same, and the art style of the game just reminded me a lot of Titanfall. I then, after my first game, looked up and found out for myself that it's the same team. And I think the most disappointing thing about it is that they just reused a lot of their things from their other, better IP. And I know it's all set in the same universe, but be realistic with yourself. That's just an excuse to reuse most of the good things from Titanfall. And as of now, the Titanfall franchise is just that, a name. There are still new rumors of a new game. Respawn will sometimes hint that they haven't forgotten about their best game. We've seen no actual proof, only nostalgia nostalgia grabs in Apex with things like skins, maps, and other stuff. The game was essentially abandoned. Titanfall 1, I think, is still unplayable, and for a long time there were tons of hackers and DDoS attacks on the Titanfall 2 servers, but even with that, there was still some fan base left. A couple of years ago, the game had a resurgence because I think they finally fixed the server issues, and now people still play it to this day. I saw Moist Critical is doing a run through of the campaign, and maybe it will get more eyes and attention on the game. Maybe even my video will get more attention on this game and this franchise. But for me, I've pretty much lost hope in another game. Respawn is now responsible for the Star Wars series, the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and its sequel, Jedi Survivor, and there's already another sequel to that game in the pipeline, and I think it's already in development at this point. So possibly after that, we'll see a Titanfall 3 or a Titanfall prequel or whatever, but I wouldn't bet on it. But that is all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I had a really fun time making this video, and I hope you all can tell that I did. With that though, I hope you all have a great day, and peace.